All right, there's Vice President Joe Biden saying goodbye now, continuing his walk through the room of the White House Correspondents Dinner. It is wrapping up now at the Hilton Hotel in Washington, D.C. We saw the president deliver his final address to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It was filled with jokes. It was filled with targets raising from journalists to members of his own party and, of course, members of the other party. Let's listen.
On the Republican side, things are a little more, how shall we say this, a little more loose. Just look at the confusion over the invitations to tonight's dinner. Guests were asked to check whether they wanted steak or fish, but instead, a whole bunch of you wrote in Paul Ryan. That's not an option, people. Steak or fish. You may not like steak or fish, but that's your choice. Meanwhile, some candidates aren't polling high enough to qualify for their own joke tonight. The rules were well established ahead of time. And then there's Ted Cruz. Ted had a tough week. He went to Indiana, Hoosier country, stood on a basketball court, and called the hoop a basketball ring. What else is in his lexicon? Baseball sticks, football hats. But sure, I'm the foreign one.
All right, President Obama there delivering his speech. Those are some pretty good lines. I was a big fan of the Paul Ryan joke. Steak, fish, people filling in Paul Ryan there. That was good stuff. Now, there was another comedic routine at the event, too. Larry Wilmore followed the president. We asked our viewers, who do you think was funnier, the president or Larry Wilmore? Let's take a look at what the viewers said. President Obama, 90%. Who gave a funnier speech? 90% say President Obama, just 10% say Larry Wilmore. Let's get a sense of how it all played in the room tonight. Let's go to the red carpet. We're joined there by Sarah Murray. Oh, Sarah Murray, it's getting cold. You're warming up there. Like to see that. You're headed out on your way out. Let's talk about the president first. How was his speech received?
Well, I think that a lot of people thought the president's speech was very funny. I was sitting around a number of cruise staffers who were laughing out loud about the basketball ring comment. I think even the folks in the cruise campaign know that was a little bit of a miss there. And I think the general feeling among folks around me was that President Obama was funnier than Larry Wilmore. There are a couple people who have seen Larry Wilmore before who sort of already had started leaving by the time he started talking because they just felt like he's not that funny. And the president was very funny tonight. So, you know, take what you will from that, John.
Heard a lot of groans at some points because a lot of people in the room, Sarah, were also targeted, yes?
Yes, that's definitely true. There were a number of people in the room who were targeted, and I think Donald Trump kind of gives us a guide for how you should handle that or not. When he was targeted a couple years ago, a lot of people talked about how he had kind of a sour reaction to that. He left very quickly, and I think that people tried to sort of change that this time around. I don't know. Jeff, Maeve, what did you think? How do you think people were reacting to being the butt of the jokes?
Well, I think that inside the room, the only Democratic candidate in the room was Bernie Sanders. And I think, frankly, he was happy to be mentioned. But there were some zingers at Hillary Clinton as well. I was struck by the Goldman Sachs reference.
Great line.
He said, when I leave office, maybe I can start making some Harriet Tubmans, the reference to some money on Goldman Sachs. But he also said a year from now, I'm not sure, we'll have a new president, whoever she may be. So I think the closest we got to an endorsement there. But overall, the John Boehner thing, I think, is the thing that sticks out to me the most. as being so funny that he actually came back to do that movie theater routine. But
and of course there was that great line with Bernie Sanders too, where he talked about them being fellow comrades, which was it was he sort of gave the back of the hand to everyone in equal fashion, and I think that's why that speech went over so much better than the one that followed.
Right, I think it's hard if you are the one who, if you are just taking partisan jabs. I think people kind of knew Obama was going to come out and hit everyone. But I know there's been some reaction that, the John Boehner thing, maybe it was too inside baseball. I don't know, it seemed funny to me. This seems like a place to make that joke.
Of course it's inside baseball, but this is inside baseball. We are in the stadium, right?
Baseball.
I thought it was so funny because, John Boehner's been in the news with his Lucifer comment this week, so they couldn't have even planned that timing. But I think I was just struck by, again, we're reminded of the president. His timing is so good. I don't know if I agree with that 90 to 10% poll there, but he's good.
He was clearly, this was the final moment where he could let loose. Obviously, he's had, a kind of chilly relationship with the press, and tonight he just let it all rip.
And in a lot of ways, I felt like President Obama was actually nicer to Donald Trump than I expected him to be.
Right.
Some of the things he said about Ted Cruz felt harsher than the things he was saying about Trump.
For example, with the Ted Cruz joke, bringing up again the whole Canadian debate once again. It was amazing.
Well, and again, a soundtrack really of all 8 years of the presidency being at all these dinners is Obama's birth certificate and the fact that he still gets so much mileage out of the back. I'm the foreigner. You're calling me the foreigner.
Flip it on Ted
I think that has really been sort of a gift, a comedic gift that he's had. But you're right. It could have been much harsher on Donald Trump. But one reason is Democrats aren't laughing about him as much as they were in 2011.
Right.
He was the butt of a joke then. Now he's a serious
And
figure.
especially to this room. Living in LA, the animosity that you feel in Hollywood toward Donald Trump and the protests that we've seen in California over the last couple of days, this was a room where Barack Obama did not need to go hard on Donald Trump. It was already,
Right. It's not a joke anymore. He has worked hard to prove he is not a joke. He has won the votes to prove he is not a joke. And now we're seeing the various reactions to that. All right, Jeff, Maeve, thanks so much. John, back to you.
All right, Sarah, thanks so much. Thanks to all of you for working so hard tonight. Appreciate it. Now go enjoy yourselves. Thanks so much, guys. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.